Hi guys, it's me the Stepford gamer. Back with another video. This time, I am driving Route 77, which is Llyn via Benton. Enjoy. So, yeah. It's been a while. A long while. Like, 10 months long. And I know, that's kinda crazy. You're probably wondering what happened, where I've been, why I just disappeared off the face of the internet like an abandoned side quest. Well, life, man. Just stuff. A mix of things, really. You know how it goes, one thing leads to another, time slips away, and suddenly you're looking at the calendar like, wait, has it actually been that long? Yeah, that happened. Honestly, it wasn't even one big dramatic reason. Just the usual, things got busy, I got sidetracked, and before I knew it, making videos just kinda fell to the side. I kept thinking, I'll get back to it soon, but then, well, soon turned into months. There were a couple of times I sat down, ready to record, but I just wasn't feeling it. You ever have those moments where you're just not in the zone? Like, you want to do something, but your brain is just like, hey, maybe later? Yeah, that too. And of course, there were the usual technical hiccups, because why wouldn't there be? You know how it is, something always decides to break when you're actually trying to be productive. Classic. But hey, the important thing is, I'm back. And this time, I actually have a plan. I'm gonna be uploading once a week, so get ready for that. New videos, fresh content, and just overall getting back into the groove. So yeah, that's the update. Nothing too crazy, just life doing its thing. But I appreciate you all for sticking around, and I'm excited to get back into it. New video coming soon, and I'll see you then. Oh, and one more thing. Look, I know this AI voice probably isn't doing the best job of capturing what I'm actually feeling right now. Like, imagine me saying all this with way more excitement, some hand gestures, maybe a little bit of dramatic flair, you know, actual human energy. But instead, you're getting this kinda, weirdly robotic version of me that just doesn't quite hit the same. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fine, but there's something about the way it talks that just makes everything sound a little too flat. Like, I could be saying, I'm super excited to be back, but it might come across more like, I am super excited to be back. You get what I mean? But hey, all that aside, I am genuinely pumped to get back into making videos. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm really hoping to bring some fun, exciting, and maybe even chaotic new content for you all to enjoy. So, even if this voice doesn't quite sell the enthusiasm, just know, it's there. And I can't wait to share what's coming next. Alright, that's enough rambling. Let's actually get into discussing major SCR updates in the last 10 months, which was a lot really. SCR 2.0 and 2.1 dropped with 2.2 expected soon heading well. Metro. Alright, so let's quickly recap that massive update we got a few months back. First, I've got to mention how much better the train movement feels now. With the new system, trains actually accelerate and decelerate more realistically. It's way smoother and honestly just more fun to drive. The UI upgrades were a big deal too. The driving interface looks so much cleaner now, and the new dispatching UI makes managing everything a lot less chaotic. Oh, and the guarding UI got some small tweaks that just make it a bit easier to use. The devs really cleaned things up across the board. Then there are the new trains. The Class 156-4 and 156-9 came to connect, which is awesome if you're into that diesel vibe. We also got the Class 385s, and the Class 800 dropped on Express, which adds a nice bit of variety. Plus, that whole extension from Edgemead opened up, with new stations like Slocby and Rayleigh Bay, definitely a cool area to explore. Signaling got some love too. We got a new signal zone for Rayleigh Bay, and they added semaphore signals to that branch, which is a nice touch. Oh, and the station announcements were updated too. Now, you get announcements that better match the size of the station and even delay info, which makes waiting around feel more realistic. There were also a ton of new routes, especially the diesel-exclusive ones on Stepford Connect and Express, which, if you're into the diesel trains, is a treat. Plus, with all the new upgrades to the trains like the Class 319, Class 321, and even the Class 170, it really feels like a whole new experience when you're out on the tracks. And of course, they didn't forget about the bug fixes. Lots of little issues, like the Class 458 5-guard teleporting glitch, got patched up, which is always a good thing. 2.0 was massive. I even planned on making a video about it, but life got in the way. Okay, so let's talk about the 2.1 update. It's all about the longer trains game pass and a bunch of other upgrades that make the game feel even more polished. So, first up, the longer trains game pass. If you've been wanting to drive some seriously long trains, this is the update for you. We've got things like the Class 390 Pendolino now available in 9 and 11 car variants, and the Class 801 and 802. The 9 car and double versions are now available if you've got the Class 802. Same deal for the Class 801, and we've even got the Class 802 and 397 in double-length versions. There's also the Class 220, 221, and 387 in doubles too. So, if you've got the base versions of those trains, you can now roll them out in longer forms. Also, they've made it so trains with multiple units can now have different unit numbers, which is a nice touch for realism. But here's the catch, some platforms can only handle shorter trains now, so you'll need to keep an eye out for that if you're driving the longer ones. The update also brought some major upgrades to certain stations and depots. For example, Hemdon Park got a rebuild, and Berrily Depot got upgraded to support those longer trains. Plus, there are now train side screens that show more details, and OLE, overhead lines, have been added or replaced in various parts of the map, adding even more to the immersion. As for bug fixes, there were some minor but important things taken care of, like seats facing the wrong way on the Class 165-166, some fixes to stop markers, and a few scenery tweaks. All those little fixes make the game feel a lot smoother. Oh, and don't forget the new route. R088 now runs from Stepford Central to Llyn-by-the-sea via Benton and Westercoast. Plus, they've extended platforms 0 and 1 at Stepford Central to accommodate those longer trains, which is a nice bonus if you're running the new units. So yeah, this update was all about giving us more variety with the trains, more realism, and just generally making the game world feel more alive. Alright, let's dive into version 2.2. Now, I know a lot of us are eagerly waiting for this update. It's set to drop sometime in early 2025, and it's got some exciting stuff lined up. So, let's break down the confirmed features, then we'll dive into some of the speculated ones that have been making the rounds in the community. Confirmed features. First up, we've got the addition of a new metro operator. Now, this is huge. We've been waiting for more variety in terms of operators and routes, and the metro has been something a lot of players have been asking for. From what we know, this new operator will bring a completely fresh experience to the game, with new trains, stations, and routes that feel totally different from what we've seen before. This will be a massive change in how we approach driving and dispatching, and it'll definitely give the game a new energy. Plus, if it's done right, it could lead to some really cool, urban-like environments in the game with a more fast-paced, inner-city vibe. Definitely something to look forward to. Next up, the Class 777 is confirmed to be making its way into the game in version 2.2. Now, for anyone who's not familiar with the Class 777, it's a modern train that's designed specifically for urban and metro routes, so it makes perfect sense that it would be added with the metro operator. The 777 is sleek, futuristic, and offers a whole new look to the fleet. We'll get to see that high-tech feel in action, with new sounds, animations, and, of course, a whole new driving experience. It's going to be fun to see how they implement this train, especially with the new operator coming into the picture. If you've seen videos of the real-world Class 777, you know how advanced it looks, and it's going to be awesome to experience it virtually. Speculated features. Alright, now let's talk about the speculated features, and trust me, there's a lot of buzz around these. These are the features that have been hinted at or discussed by the community and devs, and while they aren't confirmed yet, I think they're pretty much a lock at this point. First on the speculation list, Metro Loop opening. If you ask me, this is almost definitely going to happen. I mean, it just makes sense, right? The addition of the new metro operator, the focus on urban environments, and the fact that it's been teased so much, it's practically guaranteed. The Metro Loop would provide a new, interconnected set of routes that bring all the hustle and bustle of city transit into the game. Imagine being able to drive a short, rapid service train going from station to station in a continuous loop around the map. That kind of dynamic, fast-paced gameplay would bring a whole new level of excitement to Stepford County Railway. Plus, think of all the new stations and tracks that would come with it. I'm really hoping this one comes to fruition. Then there's the whole topic of third rail lines. If you've been keeping up with the community chatter, you'll know that this is something everyone's been talking about. We've got overhead lines, but third rail systems would add a whole new layer of depth to the game. These lines are used in some of the most iconic metro and suburban networks around the world, and bringing them to Stepford would make things feel so much more diverse and realistic. It'd mean more variety in the way the trains interact with the tracks, and it would allow for a wider range of trains to be used in different scenarios. With the Metro Loop potentially being part of the update, it seems like third rail lines could be an obvious addition to the map. I mean, can you imagine those awesome city trains running on third rail? It would look so cool. Now, here's another one that gets everyone excited, meshed rails. Okay, we don't have a lot of concrete details on this, but the idea of meshed rails has been floating around for a while, and it would be another game changer. Basically, meshed rails refer to tracks that have been improved with additional textures and a more realistic look. This would improve the visual quality of the game in a major way, especially in areas with heavy track layouts. You'd have smoother transitions between different sections of the map, and the whole environment would feel more connected and detailed. Plus, meshed rails would look fantastic when combined with the upcoming updates, like the Metro Loop and the third rail lines. Everything would feel more cohesive, and the immersion factor would skyrocket. Let's talk about battery-powered trains for a second. This one's super interesting because it's a bit more technical, but it's something we've seen in real-world transport systems. Trains that can run off batteries instead of just relying on the overhead wires or track-based power systems. In Stepford, this would be a huge leap forward in terms of gameplay and realism. These types of trains would be able to run on more limited track sections where traditional electrification doesn't exist. If this feature makes it into version 2.2, it would open up all kinds of new routes and challenges for players. Battery-powered trains could potentially operate on non-electrified sections of track, offering even more variety to the routes we can drive. I'd imagine that these trains would have a different feel to them, too, maybe a slightly slower start or a need to manage the battery charge during the journey. Finally, the Stepford City Zone rebuild. This is another one I'm really confident about. The Stepford City Zone is a major part of the map, and I think a full rebuild is definitely in the cards for this update. The area could use some polishing to bring it up to modern standards, and with all the improvements coming in version 2.2, I wouldn't be surprised if they took the time to overhaul the zone. A rebuild would mean more detailed stations, better track layouts, and just an overall better environment to drive through. If the Metro Loop and third rail lines are added, it would make sense for the Stepford City Zone to get the same treatment so that everything fits together seamlessly. So yeah, version 2.2 is shaping up to be one heck of an update. Between the confirmed features, like the new Metro operator in Class 777, and the highly speculated features like the Metro Loop and third rail lines, there's so much to look forward to. The devs are definitely taking the game to the next level, and it's exciting to think about all the new possibilities that are just around the corner. What are you most excited for? The new trains? The Metro Loop? Or maybe the battery-powered trains? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
here. Please stand back.
to Llyn-by-the-sea. This train is full of five coaches.
And that's going to wrap up our journey on Route 077, from Stepford Central to Llyn-by-the-sea via Benton. It's good to be back. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you won't miss out on future trips like this one. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more routes or if there's something specific you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you
Your
next time on the
attention,
rails.
please.